Good morning and welcome to Mosaic and a blessed Sunday morning to you. I am Pastor Elizabeth Eckdale from St. Mark's Lutheran Church here in San Francisco, and I'm also a host of the Mosaic Show along with a good colleague of mine, Reverend Ron Swisher. But today I have another colleague of mine here on the show with us that I'm eager to have you get to know better. This is the Right Reverend Marc Andrus. You are the Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of California. You were installed in 2006. Is that correct?
That's true, 10 years ago.
Wonderful. And it is a position of oversight that you have with the Episcopal community that we're going to hear more about. But you are not from here, and I find that so interesting. You are from a long place from here, and I'm interested how you got from the Deep South to the Bay Area. Please introduce yourself and welcome.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Yeah. It's a great pleasure to be with you. Well, you know, when I speak with groups here in the Bay Area, sometimes I ask how many were born here, like you, or even right here in San Francisco. And there's usually 2 or 3 people in the room, but then I go on to make the point that everybody, including the ones like you who were born here, have chosen to stay here or to come here. This is a place that people very deliberately choose, and for big, big reasons that have to do with aspirations of freedom and ability to innovate and to bring all their powers of creativity to bear. So I think that's important as we think about who we are and why we're doing what we're doing here in the Bay Area. Sheila and I, my wife and I, came from Alabama. I was the bishop suffragan, which is, if you were looking in civil terms, it would be like the lieutenant governor of the Diocese of Alabama, which is most of the state of Alabama. And I was elected. We elect all our bishops. It's a mixed democracy, the Episcopal Church. I was elected in 2006, and we moved here. The bishop suffragan position, I had certain areas of responsibility in Alabama and also some scope to kind of follow what God was calling me to do there. And I worked in the areas of environment and racial reconciliation. And those experiences were very transformative for me. I learned so much in both spheres. And I think those helped prepare me for coming here.
Prior to that, though, you grew up in a very rural part of the South. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's true. We lived in Birmingham in Alabama, but I was raised in a small town. I was born in Oak Ridge, the nuclear city. That was part of the Manhattan Project. And then we lived in an old town, old East Tennessee town that was became a sort of bedroom community of Oak Ridge.
Were you Episcopalian as you grew up?
I was raised in the Methodist Church, United Methodist. My mother comes from a long Methodist family in North Carolina. She was raised on a farm in East Carolina. Interestingly, I remember them talking about Glide Memorial here in San Francisco when I was a kid. These farm folks in Eastern Carolina were very connected to the sense of what Glide represented in terms of justice.
I'm interested in where you got some of your progressive values, and it sounds like it started in the Methodist Church and with your family.
Well, it started with my mom and my dad, but especially my mother's commitment to justice from the Methodist Church, very strongly.
You saw that in your home? You saw that in the way they lived their lives?
Yes, very much. They were, I mean, they fit in with a small southern Tennessee town. They were not people who were not really part of things, but I remember there was a meeting that they hosted in their home when people were asking the question of, could we have black members in our all-white church? And my dad very strongly believed that we should, absolutely. And he invited church members and the pastor, and they had this big meeting, and I was a little child listening in. And of course, when we listen in, sometimes we take that in more deeply than the things that are said straight on to us.
Right. Well, we're going to take a break right now, and we're going to hear more about Bishop Andrus. Here is our guest today. Thank you.